Hollow Knight Pill Court is amazing. It's pill, it's a court. The title is not clickbait, people. If some of you are confused on what the pill court thing is, let me explain. This is the first ever full-on fan-made Hollow Knight DLC and adds extra content to the game like the Grim Troop or Godmaster did, but this time it was done by fans. If I was new to Hollow Knight and someone would show me the pill court DLC, I would think it is from the actual game, because it is that well crafted and thought out. And although I have not played it myself, because I'm a Switch gremlin that enjoys Joy-Con drift, I can confidently say that this is the best Hollow Knight fan creation out there and that you should definitely give it a try if you own the game on Steam and are craving more Hollow Knight content. There's a link in the description that takes you to the trailer of the DLC, which helps you install the mod. It's really awesome, so play it! Because today we're going to talk about this new DLC and why it's a masterpiece. There's a lot to uncover, so let's go over all the new stuff it added to see exactly why the pill court is so amazing. Starting with the meat and potatoes of this DLC are the brand new bosses, and not just any new bosses, because you might recognize these familiar faces. The whole Pill Court DLC is teamed off of the great 5 knights that protected, and I quote, protected the White Palace and made all of them into a brand new boss fight. Traya, Semer, Hegemol and Isma, they're all here. Oh, and also Tiso for some reason. First of all, I just want to say that this is a great idea for a DLC. This is something that Team Cherry probably would have added themselves, because it just perfectly fits into the game world and lore. I always found it a little bit weird that they created these 5 knights where you could find little bits and pieces of information about them, but didn't do anything else with them. Yeah, like, it's cool lore, but they even created a full-on design for one of the knights just for it to be a dead body. It just felt like there was something missing. Team Cherry created so much lore for these characters just for us to not meet them. I mean, there's Semer and White Defender, but one of those two fucking dies. However, all of this is solved with the Pill Court DLC, where you can fight every one of the 5 knights in the dreams of their respective locations. So let's cover them one by one, starting with Kindly Isma. You've probably heard of Isma, right? I mean, you own her frigging tier like the psychopath you are. This fight can be accessed by dream nailing the Isma plant. The Isma plant in Isma's Grove. Right off the bat, Isma is one of the most unique boss fights in the game. Not just the DLC, in the game. All her attacks are plant-based, giving her the capability to do sick stuff like this. She even spawns in enemies from Green Path. This fight is definitely something we've never seen in any Hollow Knight boss. Almost everyone fights with a nil or with infection-based attacks. Isma on the other hand said, fuck that. Plant! She even strings the stage in her second phase with thorns. Now that is cool. Then next up we have Traya. You can access this fight by dream nailing her corpse next to the entrance to White Lady. Traya is exactly what you would expect from her, a fierce warrior. Hey, would you look at that? Traya is really fast paced and gives a lot of pure vessel vibes in combination with Lace from Silksong. No, not the chips. She's really agile, keeping you on your toes for the entire fight, and is overall a really solid one. Then we have Hegemol. Not to be confused with False Knight, because this time the bug inside the armor of Hegemol is actually Hegemol and not this dumb maggot. So you bet your ass is going to get handed to you when the bug inside the armor actually has more than 2 brain cells. Mighty Hegemol is very similar to Phil Champion, except for the part where he's not. He eats the floor now. I think this fight is perceived the hardest by the community, and rightfully so. The attacks are way harder to dodge and the big double D. Double damage. Yeah, okay. But definitely a really cool one, especially since we already had 2 quote-unquote Hegemol fights. But the Pill Court team still made this a really unique fight. After that we have Mysterious Semer, who can be found at one of the worst benches in the game. Haha, funny reference to my own video. But no, she can be found in the resting grounds at the place where you probably killed her. Although I didn't know what to expect from this fight, I didn't expect this big ass sword. Her attacks look sort of similar to that of Trader Lord, which again is really genius with the lore kept in mind from Hollow Knight. She could be kind of finicky with the way she just walks into you, but it is definitely one of the easier bosses given her low health pool. And last but not least, we have Tiso. He has a gun now! I posted a poll to see which new boss of the 5 knights is the community's favorite, and the results were pretty clear, because Kindly Isma won the poll with a big margin of the votes. which was definitely not surprising to me. She has a lot of really unique attacks that got everyone by surprise. Sadly, I couldn't put in all the new bosses with these kinds of pulls, so maybe Tiso would have won. Because of Gun. I think I can safely say that all of these bosses are insanely well crafted. From all of their animations, to voice lines, to backgrounds, to attacks, to dialogue, to the way they are implemented into Hollow Nest. It all looks like legit content made by Team Cherry, and everything is just so polished to perfection. Some things are arguably even better. Nothing feels out of place here. It just doesn't feel like a fan-made DLC to me, and that is the best compliment it could ever receive. Now, although the main show of this DLC are the bosses, which alone are worth downloading the DLC for, there's still a lot more content that the team added as well. Charms are always a welcome addition to a new DLC, and Pill Court is no different. This DLC added 5 new charms that can be acquired by beating one of the new bosses that isn't Tiso with a gun. Can we just appreciate the fact that Tiso has a gun? A gun? The last charm, however, can be acquired in a brand new section added to the Abyss, so let's go over them. Starting with the King's Honor, which can be obtained by beating Kindly Isma. This charm is not an actual new charm, but more an upgrade to an old charm. That being the Defender's Crest. Now you don't smell like poop, now you smell heroic. Whatever that smells like. I'm not 100% sure on this, but I believe it increases the range of the aura and presumably does more damage and lingers on enemies even when you're not close to them anymore, while all still costing 1 charm notch. Also, this is a cute reference to the White Defender and Isma being together, I guess. I don't know the lore. It is a really handy upgrade though. Next up we have the Mark of Purity, obtainable by beating Fierce Dryad. So imagine Quick Slash times 100 speed. This only costs 3 notches and you're now able to hold the button instead of spamming it. Then we have Boon of Hollow Nest, obtainable by beating Mighty Hegemol, and honestly, this is the sickest charm I've ever seen. All your spells will now transform into the attacks of Pure Vessel, aka my favorite boss, aka this is the best charm. Your Fireball spell becomes the Spreaded Sword attack, your Ground Pound spell becomes the big swords that rise up from the ground, and your Abyss Shriek becomes the Exploding Balls of Doom. This is just the sickest thing in existence. It literally changes your whole moveset in the best way possible, and although it costs 4 charm notches and some attacks could be very situational, it is still one of the most fun charms I've seen. After that we also have Vessel's Laments, obtainable by beating Zemare. And this charm is similar to Boon of Hollow Nest because you now gain the power of Pure Vessel's Explosion Heal. Just a really creative idea. I don't know if it's actually useful in a lot of situations though, but still a really cool one. And last but not least we have Abyssal Bloom that can be found in the new Abyss section. Now first of all, this new Abyss section is a platforming section. Probably around the difficulty of Path of Pain, but just a lot shorter. This is amazing. I'm not really a platforming guy myself, specifically in this game, but I still appreciate the extra effort of making an entire extra section for 1 charm. And then the charm itself. Holy Mother of God. This might possibly be the most broken thing in the game. Period. It is similar in the way Fury of the Fallen works. This charm, however, already starts showing its power after just a few hits and gradually gets stronger the closer you are to dying, but also increases your range in possibly the coolest way possible by being able to punch your enemies with your shade arms, just like in the end with the Radiance. This does cost 5 charm notches though, but if you're skilled enough, you don't need anything else anymore, because this charm can literally kill everything in a matter of seconds. I also posted a poll for the charms to see which one the community likes the most, and yeah, there was no competition here. However, all of these charms were really creative and unique, so I have no complaints whatsoever here. All of them are just really fun in my opinion. But now it's time for the real deal. So this DLC has new charms and new bosses. It's not like we've seen this before in any other DLCs. But the keen eye does notice a problem here. Since Pill Court is released after the Godmaster DLC, the new bosses are going to be excluded from the Hall of Gods and Pantheons, right? Wrong! Below and behold the brand new area in the Hall of Gods. I think I've told you enough that this DLC feels like legit content, but this feels like legit content! The team made sure everything, just everything was implemented perfectly in the world of Hollow Knight by even updating the Hall of Gods as if the new bosses were part of the game all along. If you enter the new area under the Dung Defender statue, you'll of course find the statues of the other great knights, and just like all the other bosses, you can fight them on Attuned, Ascended and Radiant. Tiso on the other hand can be found at the Brooding Moloch statue, and you would think that that is a cute reference to him getting crushed by the Brooding Moloch. In the new area there's something brand new in here as well. The Champion's Call. You sit on his throne and then you fight White Defender like it's a normal afternoon. But then... This is a brand new pantheon with all the great 5 knights, and they even combined White Defender and Isma as a brand new fight to start it off with, which again is a cute reference. And after that you need to fight the rest of the great knights, ending with an upgraded Zemare fight that is absolutely ham, and she can now do the same attack as Lace from Silksong. I really shouldn't be making Silksong references right now. And then it all ends with the credits with everyone that worked on the Pilcore DLC and a wholesome moment with all the great knights. Team Cherry, hire them, please. This DLC experience feels like the complete package, and I didn't miss a single time. Also, since I didn't mention it before, there's brand new music for each new boss as well, and it slaps. You need to be talented as frick to make music not only sound like a banger, but also make it sound like it belongs to Hollow Knight. Here, take a listen to some tracks. Play this DLC. I can't say it enough. As someone who is not really into mods and just likes to play the vanilla game only, I can just see the passionate love and work put into the Pilcore. And as a Hollow Knight community that is starving from content, this is exactly what you will need. And if you don't want or can't play the DLC for some reason, at least watch some gameplay of it. There's a lot of great people that play this mod on their channel, like Blue SR, Scurry, Cranky Templar, Fireborn, Mighty Mo, just to name a few. And watch the trailers of the DLC as well, because those are just really cool. Give the team some support in any way you can. This DLC just falls perfectly in line with the other real DLCs of the game, and it honestly surpasses the Hidden Dreams and the Lifeblood DLC for me. Okay, it's not really hard to surpass Lifeblood, but it maybe even surpasses the Grim Troop for me. I just think it's that good. Let me know what you think of this new DLC in the comments. What did you like the most, and what were the parts that you didn't like? I'm really interested to see that, because I couldn't really experience it for myself, so it's great to hear it from your guys' perspective. But with that, I'm signing off, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye!